What is up, YouTube? This is your boy, the original Renaissance man, Devon Da Vinci. I need to stop saying this is your boy because every single YouTuber I know that reviews stuff or reacts to stuff say this is your boy. So I'm going to just, from now on, just saying, hey, what's up? This is Devon Da Vinci. Hopefully I can remember that. But anyway, the video I'm going to react to right now is 10 video game ripoffs that were better than the original. Now, honestly, I don't think I can think of a single video game asset that was better than the original as of right now. I'm sure something will come to me. Maybe even as I'm watching this video, something else might pop up in my head. And it might pop up on a video, so there's no telling what the hell we might run into. But I think it's an interesting topic, so I figured I'd go ahead and make a video about it. If you guys have anything that doesn't pop up on this video, make sure you leave them comments down below and everything else. Also, like I said, if you have any questions about this channel or me or anything that I react to or anything like that, make sure you let me know, because I'm trying to figure out right now what I'm going to have playing in the background of my drawing videos. And I'm sure you guys just don't want to see me drawing with music in the background, so I figured I'd try to turn it into a Q&A while I'm drawing. So if I can get some questions just about anything, like even if it's basic questions like how to start a YouTube channel, what I do, what type of software do I use, anything like that, be sure to leave questions down below and I'll answer them in the video. Anyway, that's enough talk. Let's get into this video.
Video game ripoffs are everywhere.
This video was made by Chaos. I forgot to mention that as well.
Sometimes, in a rare instance, they're actually good. We are running a $200 Amazon gift card giveaway the entire month. All you have to do to enter is like this video, be subscribed, turn on your notifications, and leave a comment why you want to win it with your Twitter handle attached. I will announce the winner at the end of the month on Twitter.
There you go.
Be sure to take advantage of the giveaway, guys. Turn on your notifications and be subscribed so you never miss an upload. And we've done a lot of talking on this channel about games that were absolutely a total ripoff of other games. However, it's not always the case where they're bad. Sometimes we get a ripoff and it actually ends up being better than the one that came before it. What's up, guys? Jimmy here. Welcome to...
Now, after seeing that picture of the Sonic game, I do have an idea for one ripoff that can pop up on here. Crash Bandicoot Racing. Now, it wasn't Mario Kart, but in my opinion, it was better. It had a bunch of stuff that made the game great. It had some unique power-ups. It had boss fights. We need boss fights in racing games again. I think that it adds a lot to the game. Anyway, that's enough. Let's go right back into it.
Chaos Top 10s, and today we are going to be counting down our picks for the top 10 video game ripoffs that actually ended up better than the original. They ended up better than the game they actually ripped off. I know that doesn't make much sense, but it happens from time to time, and we are going to cover them. Kicking off our list at number 10, and this one may shock you, Guitar Hero is actually a ripoff of Guitar Freaks. That's right. This wildly popular game, or at least used to be wildly popular rhythm game series, and everybody knows the Guitar Hero formula. You get your guitar with the colored buttons, the notes come at you to the music, and you play along. Well, that's not exactly Guitar Hero's formula. Guitar Hero is actually a straight rip of an arcade game called Guitar Freaks that was released in Japan in 1999 that featured plastic guitar controllers, colored buttons, and identical gameplay to the Hero series. As it turns out, Red Octane, the developers of Guitar Hero, were the makers of the actual guitar controllers for Guitar Freaks, which is what inspired them to take the concept and make it even better. And I want to know how well you were listening. How many times did I say guitar during that sequence? Sticking with the music theme, Rock Band, ripoff of Guitar Hero? And we're going to stay on the topic of rhythm games and making them better. Next up, we have Rock Band, which is a straight-up ripoff of Guitar Hero, which is a straight-up ripoff of Guitar Freaks. After the release of GH2, the teams involved with the series split. Half of them started developing on Guitar Hero 3, and the other half went to EA and started their own studio called Harmonix. And yes, they started development on Rock Band. It was just Guitar Hero, but with more instruments. As opposed to the over-the-top and cartoony style of the original Guitar Hero, Rock Band went with a more realistic approach. which is what drew many, many people into it. So while you may have your own opinion on which one is better, Guitar Hero or Rock Band, now you know that they're both absolute ripoffs of Guitar Freaks and each other. It's like this big rip-off circle, if you will. But I want to know in the comment section, which one did it better, Rock Band or Guitar Hero? With the success of Mortal Kombat, it's obvious that other games would try to emulate it. And at number 8, we have Killer Instinct. And the Killer Instinct series has been going for a while, with the first game being released all the way back in 1994.
Again, I would say Killer Instinct wasn't better than Mortal Kombat, so I'd put an asterisk next to this one.
However, as the series progressed, it started to look more and more like Mortal Kombat, which makes sense because the original publisher of the series was Midway Games, who was also publishing MK at the time. But as the series went on, every new installment looked a little more like MK, until the 2013 release of the series reboot, simply titled Killer Instinct. This new game was awesome, and it still played competitively, but you cannot deny how much it looks like MK9 and MKX. While I understand that a lot of 2D fighters look similar just due to the nature of the genre, you gotta admit that Killer Instinct is cutting it pretty close with NetherRealms and Mortal Kombat. This one is obvious, but this game was still awesome. Saints Row is a direct ripoff of Grand Theft Auto. Now, Saints Row has since started to branch out and make a name for itself as a series. It started off as a 100% rip of GTA, and in many ways it still is one. An open world crime game where you can do whatever you want in fictional recreations of real locations. Does that sound familiar? In recent installments, Saints Row has started to be more of an over-the-top version of GTA. That's kind of their style. That's what they're going for to be their marker, but it's still pretty obvious. If there was no GTA, there would not have been a Saints Row. Okay, love Angry Birds or hate Angry Birds, it's pretty addicting, okay? And did you know that it was a ripoff? It ripped off a game called Crush the Castle, and the Angry Birds formula is nowhere near original. In fact, it's one of the most blatant ripoffs that I've ever seen. Crush the Castle was released almost a full year before Angry Birds, and it was pretty much everything that the mobile game does. You have your catapult that you need to line up shots with the towers with, you have the certain projectiles with special abilities, and pretty much all of the special Angry Birds are ripped straight from this game's power-ups, like the one that splits into 3, the one that explodes, the one that's bigger than the rest and hits harder. Does it all sound familiar? It's all right there. So while you didn't hear people talk about this more often and say, why is this such a blatant rip? It's because Angry Birds was a better game and they marketed it better, but all they did was take Angry Little Birds and replace them with the power-ups from Crush the Castle. So it's better, but it was still a ripoff. Cracking into the top 5, and how dare, it's just blasphemy to say Super Mario Brothers and it was a ripoff, but it was. Super Mario Bros. 2 ripped off Yumi Koji Doki Doki Panic. Wow. If you're familiar with gaming history, you know the whole fiasco of Super Mario Bros. 2. After the release of the first game, everyone wanted a sequel, but Nintendo didn't think that the Western audience was smart enough to handle what they had in store. So there were 2 different versions of Super Mario Bros. 2. One for the Japanese market and one for the Western market. Aside from being way easier than the Japanese version, the Western version of Super Mario Bros. 2 is actually just a reskin of a different game called Yumi Koji Doki Doki Panic. That's not to say that it isn't a good game. The Western version of Mario 2 is actually pretty fun. It's different too, but I have to say it's pretty lame that while the Japanese audience got a brand new game, us Westerners got a simple reskin. Thankfully, the Japanese version of Mario 2 was later released to the Western audience as Super Mario Bros.
That
Lost
explains Final
Levels.
Fantasy
But it always made me wonder why
story.
Super Mario Bros. 2 was way different from the original, and this is part of the reason why. At number 4, we have Farmville, which is a direct rip of Farm Town. During the height of Facebook games' popularity, Farmville was really the one leading the charge to be the most addicting and pointless game on the market. Not a title, well, I guess it's a title they wanted. But did you know that Farmville is actually a straight-up rip of a different farming simulation game? What happened here was actually pretty shady and kind of sad. In early 2009, a small unknown development team named SlashKey created a Facebook game called Farmtown that absolutely blew up in just a few months. But then a much bigger development team called Zynga decided to completely replicate Farmtown and release Farmville, which exploded even harder and completely erased the success of Farmtown. Seriously, you can barely tell the difference between these two games. They're almost identical, and it's pretty sad to see a small development team find some success and then just have it completely ripped out from under them because somebody copied their game.
Don't worry, Zynga's having their shit
At number
right now,
3,
too.
Devil May Cry is an awesome game, right? Well, Bayonetta was a direct ripoff of it. One of the most legendary hack and slash games ever is Devil May Cry, which was a huge inspiration to other developers and to the gaming industry as a whole. But in 2009, we got a game called Bayonetta, which was, for all intensive purposes, a complete ripoff of DMC. That's not a bad thing, though, as Bayonetta is one of the best hack and slash games ever made, and many consider it to be far superior to DMC.
I can see that.
Bayonetta was a huge success due to it basically being a sexier and more stylish version of other hack and slash games. And if you haven't tried it, I absolutely recommend it. It's a ton of fun, and so is Devil May Cry. They're both great in their own rights, and this is a perfect example of a ripoff that wasn't crap. This one's obvious, but I have to mention it anyway, okay? It's worthy of a spot. Miss Pac-Man was a ripoff of Pac-Man. It was. It's funny people get mad at developers nowadays if their sequel does too much of the same thing that the first game did back in 1981. Well, people ate it up. Gobble, like Pac-Man, you get it? Believe it or not, Miss Pac-Man is actually just a reskin of a ripoff called Crazy Otto. Some college students were developing their own game that was a complete ripoff of Pac-Man called Crazy Otto, but Midway Games was getting impatient waiting for the Pac-Man sequel, and, well, they actually bought the ripoff from the kids, reskinned the main character and the enemies, and released it as Miss Pac-Man 2. So, Miss Pac-Man 2 is actually a reskin of a ripoff. You don't see that every day. The rabbit hole gets deep. And at number 1, we have Pong. Did you know that Pong is actually a total ripoff? It is, of a game called Table Tennis, the most famous video game ever. The game credited with kickstarting an entire industry is predicated on a ripoff. Released in 1972, Table Tennis was developed after 6 years of work by Ralph Baer, who had been trying to create a TV game for over 20 years. You can consider him the grandfather of video games. Table tennis was fun, as you had to have 2 paddles and the ball that you tried to bounce past your opponent. But later that year, Atari released Pong after being inspired by table tennis, and I use the word inspired very loosely. The rest is history, as Pong was a massive success, much more than table tennis could have ever been, and this started the growth of the industry that we all know and love today, and that I make top 10 videos about. So now you know what many consider to be the world's first real video game is also the world's first ripoff. What are your thoughts on that? And there you have it, my friends. Those are 10 video game ripoffs that were actually better than the original. There's a playlist below if you want to check out all the other top 10s that go up on the channel. We put up a brand new gaming top 10 every single night at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. You can turn on your notifications, be subscribed so you never miss one. And there's a link below if you want to submit ideas for future video game top 10s. Who knows? It could end up being on the channel. Thank you for all the support as always, guys. And I'll see you tomorrow night for a brand new video.
Okay, that video was by Chaos. If you like their content, make sure you go to their channel, subscribe to them, like the video and everything. They have a giveaway that they're having, a $200, it's a $200, I believe, Amazon gift card. And they said that if all you have to do is like the video, subscribe to them, leave a message saying why you want the $200 gift card with your Twitter handle inside the comment, and I believe that's all you have to do to get the $200. But if you didn't get the full instructions, make sure you check out the video, because at the beginning they do describe what you got to do. I'm not going to enter it. I'll go ahead and leave that to y'all. But yeah, if you like the content, make sure you check out the channel. They got a lot of other video game related lists, and you might find something that you like. Anyway, that's been this video. If you have anything you want to let me know about, make sure you leave it in the comments down below. Again, save up your questions for my Q&A when I start drawing. And if you have any videos you want me to react to, you can leave them in the comment section also. Make sure you like this video, hit that thumbs up button so I know what you guys want to see more of in the future. And be sure to share the videos with friends, family, Facebook friends, Instagram followers, anything else you guys have that you want people to look at. Make sure you post it somewhere so that people can follow it and lead right back to this channel. That's really all I have left to say, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to my next video. I'm going to give you guys the deuces. This is the original Renaissance man, Devon Da Vinci. Peace.